Hey, y'all, and welcome to Happy Hour at Home. I hope you guys had a great week. I know it's getting to be a bit much, and we're going to be working from home with Cumulus Radio until the end of August. Appreciate you guys. I'm really excited to have Benny Pough on tonight. He has worked his way to the top of the music industry. We're talking about all the biggest, mostly urban, like Motown to Def Jam to all the different record labels you can even imagine. He has been there, and his last post was as president of the company. He's worked with everyone from Rihanna to Kanye and in between. It's just remarkable what he's done. He started his own company, and he's going to tell us about that. We are going to make, hey, Larry, we're going to make some whiskey sours. I've made bourbon sours, and, the classic recipe, I guess, calls for a bourbon whiskey, which is, I think, like 80% bourbon and 20% whiskey. But we're actually going to do it with straight whiskey. And my friends at Purple Brands gave me 3 bottles of whiskey. Redwood Empire, for every bottle you buy, they plant a tree in the redwood forest. Isn't that cool? Really cool. So I'm excited to try this. I was going to use the bourbon whiskey. However, my new friend over there at Purple Brands, Tom, he said, no, go for the straight whiskey. I'm like, okay. If you want a spicier whiskey sour, he said, well, actually I've read rye whiskey. So I don't know. We'll find out how much of a whiskey drinker I am. I already blended the lemon juice and the maple syrup, real maple syrup. So we're going to shake that up and see. Look at this. I've got the big ice cubes. Got one of those going. And I put a cocktail cherry from another brand in there and a little orange peel. And I made sure to go around the rim with orange. But I'm excited while we wait for Benny to sign in and join us and tell us his story, which is honestly remarkable. How are you doing today, Larry? Appreciate you always tuning in for this business. I know a lot of us are hanging out at home on the regular. But yeah, the recipe right there in the comments. Made sure to put that in there for you. But yeah, Benny should be joining us anytime. I talked to him a little bit earlier today. This is going to be good. But, funny story about whiskey. The first time I tried it as an adult, I was like, this kind of tastes like special medicine. When we were sick as kids, my dad used to make us what I now know was little whiskey and honey and lemon juice. Kind of this, actually. Not as much, obviously, just a little baby sip. But it was kind of interesting as an adult to realize that that's what Dad was cooking up. That's what it was. Okay, so I'm a little worried. Maybe Benny's having a little issues. But cheers, y'all. Cheers. See, isn't that pretty? Nice big ice cube in there. Oh, that is good. And it tastes like special medicine. That's really good. I made only the half of the recipe because Lord knows I do not need to drink 8 of these. I mean, it's brown liquor. That is delicious. That is really good. I need to remember not to drink 8 of these because that's a miserable day tomorrow. But I'm super pumped that Benny is going to join us and Bug. And if you guys want to check in, hey, JD, hey, Rob, are you guys drinking whiskey sours? I have to say, very much like a bourbon sour, but this is really delicious. And I think, when I made the bourbon sours, I didn't use maple syrup. That's what this recipe called for, but it's nice. I really like it with the orange peel and a bourbon cherry in there. Yum. Hey, Mark, how are you guys? Good to see you all. Is anybody drinking anything? Let me know. Hi, Tammy. How are you? I haven't seen you, heard from you in a little bit. And Mark, British chef extraordinaire. Yeah, that's a good cocktail. I'm glad we found so many great cocktails that are so easy to make with just a few ingredients. Accoutrement notwithstanding. But yeah, where is he? Where is he? Benny, come in, Benny. We don't see him. He hasn't checked in just yet, so I hope he's okay. He's up there in New York, New Jersey, where he lives. I guess, he usually comes down to Atlanta a lot, which is where I met him. I met him at the Women in Radio seminar. And yeah, he's, super impressive, really nice guy. He started his own company called D.Verse. I know he's he may be even representing new talent. I know I have so many friends in the music business. in one form or another, whether they're record reps that come to visit the radio stations and our music directors, whether they're jocks and air talent, broadcasting talent, and of course, musicians and the tech support, those kind of people. I have career musician friends too, and just everybody's been hit so hard by this that it's crazy. It is really, really crazy. So I don't know, where should I feel like I almost want to text him, but you know, he said he was looking forward to it. It's 5 o'clock everywhere. It's 5 o'clock here, that's for sure. Let's hope I don't make Ooh, Cabernet, Larry. That sounds good. I know that Benny is a really huge red wine lover. Is that he has like a cellar that he has in his house, but he is not drinking currently. I'll let him tell that story and let you figure that one out. But it's kind of a good story from what I heard. I didn't ask him to name names, and I doubt he would. But let's just say he's got a real good bet on his New Year's resolution to not have any cocktails. So. In radio, timing is everything. I'm always on time, right? Okay, so let's see. I don't know. I mean, again, talked to him earlier. Hey, Lulu. Hey, girl. Yeah, it is awesome, Lulu. I mean, even if you're not like a brown liquor drinker, this Redwood Empire, this is really nice. I mean, you know, maple syrup, lemon juice, and whiskey, bourbon. That's all you need. Hey, Meg. Good to see you. We're waiting on Benny. Just waiting on Benny. I know. Laugh all you want. Cheers, baby. Cheers. How are you in Palm Harbor, Florida? I know Meg is in Miami. I miss Florida. I'll be back on May 31st. I'll be coming back to Tampa Bay to spend some time. Jack, how are you? Jack, one of the only 2 people that I know who has had COVID-19. Not a picnic. Not a picnic from what I understand. But at least I believe, Jack, I don't think you were hospitalized. I pray not. My little hospital adventure that happened at, in October, little tummy trouble, little ulcer due to stress, just a 5-hour visit. They want to bill you over $10,000. So I can only imagine how any kind of stay would be. Yeah, good thing, Jack. You didn't have to do it. So where do y'all think Benny is? What do you think he's doing? I talked to him earlier today. I hope the players didn't get to him and tell him he can't come on. You stayed home. That's good. That's good. Have you been tested for antibodies yet, Jack? Ooh, wait a second. I see somebody. I see Benny. All right. You ready, Benny? Give me the thumbs up and you're going live. Okay. Let's see. Let's have. There he is. Benny, how are you?
I'm phenomenal. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. We're already into the cocktails here. I know you're not drinking.
I'm jealous.
No, don't be. Don't be. You have a lot on the line. I mean, do you want to tell everybody that story real quick, why you're not drinking right now? Because you do drink. Not that I've ever seen you drink, but.
Listen. Okay. So I guess we're going to keep this a secret amongst all your thousands of followers, right?
Okay. And yours.
I've actually, this year was the end of 2019. I decided that my life needed to change, and change for a lot of reasons, because I was transitioning out of 30 years of being a corporate executive and starting one of many businesses that I'd had my sights on, and really stepping out on my own. So I decided at that point that, you know, and it's almost like biblical essence or whatever you subscribe to or you believe, right? Whether it's, you know, the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, it's about sacrifice, right? And religion is a lot about sacrifice, what you give up to get. And the thing outside of like family and God that I love more than anything else is an incredible Cabernet, right? So I said, if 2020, putting everything in perspective of what I wanted to gain going into 2021 was to give up something that I really love. So I let my dear Cabernet go, and like, yo, 6 months in, right? And, you know, having not had a drink, I can't remember, you know, since high school. But it's amazing though. It's amazing.
But you went out with a bang, right? On New Year's Eve.
Listen, so the 12 hours rolling into New Year's, I had a different spirit every hour. So I went from coquito to tequila to champagne to vodka, everything, because I knew that, you know what, at some point, they would only be just distant memories.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, this is just for the year, right? As you
Yeah, yeah,
sort of
yeah, yeah.
make all these
Absolutely.
changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, just from experience, baby steps going back in, Benny. I don't want you to hurt yourself on your favorite Cabernet. Now, Benny, for everybody that doesn't know, and I know a lot of people do know you and know your background. What's your elevator pitch? Like, who are you, Benny?
Oh, wow. So starting from, you know, Janie Pugh's son, right? I'm the father and husband to a family of three. And I've been in the music business for 30 years.
Yeah.
Started as a comedian after I graduated from St. John's University. Young lady actually gave me the opportunity to get into college promotions post as an internship. And in that opportunity, I realized, like, you know, music wasn't my original passion. Although I loved music, played instruments in school, I sucked, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't pursue a musical career. So once I got in as a sales promotions guy in the music business, I realized, like, this is what I love to do, like, you know, changing people's lives. Because, you know, with music, you take people who relatively have no footprint in society or in music, right? And you make them stars in less than 12 weeks. Back when I got into the business, now people are literally overnight success with the vehicle.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is just really helping people to experience and develop and grow their dreams in music.
Yeah. So, I mean, are you looking to take on talent? I mean, you've worked from everywhere from, I mean, Motown was that job, right? That was the
Yeah,
promotions job with Motown.
yeah, it was incredible. I took Boys to Men on their first college gig, which was super exciting.
Oh, man.
Yeah, back then we had ABC, which was Another Bad Creation, which was Mike Bivins' group. He also signed Boys to Men
Yeah.
at that time, and you know, with Shanice Wilson was one of the highlights on our repertoire. So gauging from there to finishing at Roc Nation spans a lot of music and careers. My strong suit being a radio promoter. So I've been promoting records at radio
Yeah.
for 30 years, right? So I've
Yeah.
been a part of number ones for all kinds of artists. Mariah Carey, you know, been a part of Justin Bieber, you know, Kanye, Jay, Rihanna, Young Jeezy, Rick Ross, just to name a few, signed Future. And you know, the journey has been really good. So now moving into D.Verse Media, which is my own company,
Right.
I've decided to look at the business in totality and say, like, you know what, the game has been really good in regards to showing up every day working for the corporation, but now it's time to work for myself, right? And I've identified talent along the year and the years, and now I've just started with my label with my own artist, who's the first artist signed. Her name is Paris Gatlin. She's out of Jackson, Mississippi, and I believe, like, she will be that next superstar that people will be talking about.
How did you find her? Because I don't know if Bieber was the first one, and he was discovered on YouTube when he was what, like 12 or something like that. And I think
yeah, right.
from that point on, that's kind of the way that I guess people are getting discovered, that and the TV shows like, you know, American Idol and The Voice and things like that. And I know there's just so many musicians out there. I mean, I know people that have been signed and it just never went anywhere. You know, I don't know what kind of advice you have for people that are trying to make it as an artist. I know country guys that are going back and forth. They're working as teachers and going back and forth to Nashville, and just the dream eludes them. I mean, is it all it's cracked up to be? And how are you finding these raw talent?
So Paris came to me through a friend of mine who shot me her video, and he kind of hit me with, you know, what do you think? And he didn't follow up right away because, you know, he sends me a lot of music. So when he sent it to me, you know, I'm a processor, right? So it takes me a minute to get to music, as most musicians and people who create music realize, like, there's a time to actually be in that space, that creative space, that moment that you just relax, that you can really hear all the nuances, all the quality, everything, the lyrics, etc. Because sometimes you can get a bad decision on something really great just being rushed. So when he originally sent it to me, I gave it like a 30-second, and I just stepped back for a minute, let a couple days go by, went back to it again, and I called him. I said, "Yo, Aaron, what's up with her?" Right? He's like, "Oh, like that? Yeah, like, yeah, man, let's go get that." So he and I, we partnered and found her. But that's really how it comes. But now, to how does it really work? She had been, and I'm just giving you this example. We can go through a whole host of how people find their moment to get to a label, right? Or to get discovered. And a lot of it goes into the artist, on how much you're willing to give of yourself, right? And how relentless you are, and making sure it's a full-time job being an artist, not just performing, but also promoting and moving yourself forward. So
Yeah.
he realized that he had a connection, right? He was a connector who needed to connect her to somebody else who, hence, you know what, of all the people he may have sent it out to, I was the person that heard it. And that's how it happens, right? So you got to be relentless in your circle and beyond. It was really interesting last night, and it made me think even bigger and broader. I was talking to this producer guy in France who just came up. I'm sorry, he's in Montreal.
Okay.
But he sent me a deck of what he wants to do in creating like avenues for music to be performed online. Everyone's doing that. But what was really interesting is he said he sent an email, right, with his plan to Jeff Bezos, and he responded.
I mean,
How crazy is that? Now, I don't know if it's some auto stuff he has going on.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the assistant. I don't know how and why, but he has the response from Jeff Bezos. And that just goes to show you, right? You never give up, and you never limit yourself to who you want to send your music to, how high your sights, right, are, and what exactly is that you want. Because that blew my mind away. And this is just someone like you and I. Like, I got a plan, I'm thinking about it, and I'm gonna shoot it out as high as I can get. And he got a response.
Who like Gary Vee and the gal, she's actually from Clearwater. She's, I think, the first female self-made, one of the first female self-made billionaires, or one of the youngest, the gal that designed Spanx.
Right. Yeah.
They haven't responded to me. But I mean, I think that whole just relentless drive, I know people are tired of it, or they don't want to have to do the reality TV shows to forward their music career. And I think you're right. I think it really is kind of about, you have to do whatever it takes to make sure that your music is heard. And by the way, Jeff Bezos, I heard he may be the first trillionaire. This pandemic has been so huge for Amazon. He may be the first trillionaire in the world.
Of course he will be.
Yeah.
I jumped in at $1,000.
Did you?
Yeah, I bought maybe I missed it. I mean, it all depends, right? Just too busy. But at some point, it's just, and we're gonna bring this back to music, it's just, your entry point, right? You'll never miss it as long as you're committed, right? And you're willing to take the risk. So one day I was like, you know what? It registered for me. Like, I'm really doing all of this on Amazon. I'm buying the stock, right? And literally going into where we are now is, the upside is come.
Yeah. Well, Bono, I think, is a billionaire too, because he bought on Facebook. A lot of guys like that. I mean, I don't drunk dial, Benny. What I did last night is I got on Robinhood, which is like a stock buying app. And I bought some pot stocks, some medicinal pot stocks, because they think that COVID-19, it may be, there's something about medicinal marijuana, or marijuana in general, that may inhibit it getting into the cells or something. I don't know, but I just know the stock is going up. So I purchased not that much,
Right.
I'm 100 air. I am 100 air. Let me tell you about that.
We all are, and proud.
Yeah. Well, when you talked a little bit about how you have seen things change and grow in 30 years, and people are becoming stars overnight. I mean, I know What, Chance the Rapper? I saw him at a little venue in St. Pete. You know, I believe he wasn't even signed to any label. He was just out there doing his thing, and he blew up. I think he was winning Grammys before he was ever signed to a label. If he is now, I don't even know.
See, the beautiful thing about, you have to think about Chance. He's an independent artist, right? And
yeah.
And what we've seen, I was having this conversation with someone just the other day on watching how the technology and how the evolution of the music business has happened. Like, we were there when Apple was created, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
there when Spotify was invented, right? Like, all of the things that people will now just become a way of life, watching how it's, you know, impacted the business. And let's be real, independent artists have existed since the music business has begun, right? But now it's at the best position ever, right? When DIY probably made $2 billion last year of artists just being out on their own, right? And I think as an artist, you have to figure out what's best for you, right? If you want to be independent and that's what you choose to do, then that's fine, right? And then there are artists who want to come to major labels, and that's fine. Neither way is wrong now, right? Ultimately, what my recommendation would be with anyone is you know exactly what the courses of exposure and exploitation you want that fits best for you. But 9 times out of 10, or 9.9 out of 10, most artists want to be at a major at some point. Now, you know, ultimately they all say that I wanted to be myself, but you know, a lot of things are white labeled, meaning, you know, your brand is in front of the label and no one ever knows that the label's behind, right? So it's all unique on the signs of the time and what actually fits.
Right. I mean, because there's like a cyclical thing with boy bands, I feel like. I mean, you know, going back to Motown and the girl bands too. I don't know that we've really seen a huge girl band since, you know, I mean, I don't know if you would count maybe the Dixie Chicks or something, but the Pussycat Dolls,
right?
Well, they were here. I mean, I know. Yeah, but how many hits did they have? I mean, I was going to go back to even like, you know, the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
I'm making another one, by the way, Benny.
Yo, dude, you're a beast with it.
I want people to know, though, you know, if you have questions for Benny, you can ask him in the chat and I can show them to Benny and the world. Like, there's Meg. You know Meg.
Or not, we'll just talk.
Yeah, oh, I know. But I know that there are lots of fans of yours and people that are trying to make it in the music business. So what, I mean, you know, I don't know if you want to spill any state secrets, but what are some of the really innovative things that you see people doing? You know, I don't really know Chance the Rapper's story as far as, I mean, was it YouTube? I mean, what was the key to exposure for him?
Well, Chance had a very, for what I've seen, I don't know his plan exactly, but obviously from looking at it from the outside, being accomplished from an independent perspective, what he did that was really smart, hired a lot of ex-professional executives to kind of curate everything from the outside. So you're kind of getting the business side angle of it in your own company, not actually being a corporation, right?
Right. I see.
I heard that, you know, your family was very tight with the Obamas as well, right? So I think it's very unique for
See, I didn't know that.
For who he is and what he's done. But more importantly, like, all of that stuff is secondary. Primary is music, right? Yeah. The connections can only get you but so far, right? How it all works can only get you but so far. The system that you're in can only get you but so far. What's most important is the people outside, right? Who are going to determine who the stars are and who aren't. So his music has resonated with an audience and a base for what he was talking about, what he stood for, and what he's about. So I think that's most important. And then having a really strong team, whether you're inside of a label or outside of a label, is what's most important.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so interesting for people. You know, I don't really know the backstory with what happened with Kelly Clarkson after she won American Idol and her beef with Clive Davis and all that. But somebody like Pink, for instance, I know that she talks about how they tried to mold her into this little pop star, and that's just not her. And the thing is, you know, the only thing that really stands out is individuality. So it's such a bummer that kids get so wrapped up in being either the same as everyone or different than anyone, because I think we all know once we become adults that different is what really people gravitate towards. You know
It's
what I mean?
called authenticity, right?
Right,
And,
right,
yeah, and
right.
ultimately, I have a book that's coming out. It's called On Impact, and one of the 6 principles. Impact is an acronym. It stands for ingenuity, mastery, positioning, authenticity, communication, and teamwork. It's a book that talks about my life. I nearly died in an auto accident 6 years ago, hitting a tree at 90 miles an hour.
Oh,
So
Benny.
the accident changed my life, not both literally and figuratively, right? And that's where I came up with the title on Impact.
Yeah.
So part of the authenticity piece of that is you can't be afraid. That's what authenticity is. Like you're okay being fearless, being yourself, right? If you want to run with the herd, then you just one big sheep, right? But when you stand out, that's when you get to greatness, right? And that's when it doesn't matter what the outcome comes, because you're happy with yourself, committing to what you love to do versus what everyone else is doing. And the people that are really, really good are the ones who are unique and authentic to themselves.
It's true. What's the best story you like to tell about an artist that you have worked with? I mean, I'm sure Kanye provided some content, but I mean, you've worked with just everybody.
I mean, to be quite honest with you, everyone, I would, the stories that probably resonate, and this is best for all aspiring artists and artists that are currently in the business, is being thankful, right? And thankful isn't what you pay people, is what you say to people, right? Both verbally and gestures, right? And I would say probably in my career, the people that have been most outstanding and are pros, right, from the very beginning would be Mariah Carey and Lionel Richie, right? Like Mariah would actually write you a hand note saying thank you for delivering my record #1. And
wow.
a gift every Christmas and a card on your birthday. Lionel Richie was the same. And like, you know what? Those things go further than anything else when people say thank you, right? Because in a corporation, it's a job, right? But no one wants to feel like they're in a thankless job. So when artists, I would recommend for any and everyone, right? People that are in your system, in your ecosystem, that are riding with you, talking with you, helping you, tell them thank you. So those would be the 2 examples that I think are very apropos for this moment.
And what's the best advice you think you've ever gotten from somebody in the music business?
It was definitely from L.A. Reid. Like, there was a time in my career when I was figuring out who I was, right? I'd had marginal success coming away, took a lot of shots in MCA with the projects that I was working. Def Jam was the let's say it was really my college, right? That was really my doctoral program.
Right.
And big label let me in. They didn't take any outsiders, so just to get in was amazing. And I took like a 6-figure pay cut to take the job, right? Because I wanted to learn, right? I was willing to give up in order to get, right? And in the transition between, one head leaving and another one coming in, and working with the new the new chairman, we were out one day, and he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself as a promoter. And he said, "You know what, Benny, and this is what's important for artists, right? Is knowing your music and knowing how your music connects to your audience, right? Because you can be very sensitive about the music, and people can sway you. Oh, that's not a hit. This is a hit. That's not a hit. This is a hit, right? And then you get in this whole vacillation state of being unsure yourself." And I remember him just just telling me one day, because I was unsure about, how I was going to approach like the volume of music. Like when you're in a big company, it's the volume. And he's like,
Right.
man, you know what? Just get out your own way. He said, you're the best in the game. And all you need to do is do what you do and just get out the way. And when I released and stepped aside from thinking how I need to just line and just did what I did best, changed my whole life. And that's how I got to where I am today. Understanding the risks that are involved, right? Understanding the thank yous that are needed, understanding how to make sure that everyone gets pure representation and great representation from me and from my team.
Tom, everyone knows Tom Hanks, but the actor, Ed Burns, actor-director Ed Burns, he was in the movie Saving Private Ryan with Tom Hanks. And I remember reading some article, and Ed was, I think, negotiating his salary on this movie because he's not one of the main players, really. And Tom Hanks, I'll never forget it. He said to him, at some point, you can only eat so well.
Right.
And it's like, so it's like, is it about the art? Is it about the message? Is it about your story? I mean, or is it about just money? And if it's just about money, I don't think that connects with people in every realm, but that's just me.
Yeah. And money, like you can't be in this business, right, just for money. Like it has to be the love of, right? Or you'll miss a lot. I mean, there are people who actually are going to monetize and get paid handsomely, and everyone's not going to be a purist. Get that, right? But if you want to change culture and you want to be, one of the greats, the money comes with great work, right? Like everybody wants a winner. Everybody wants someone who can perform. Everyone wants someone who can hit a home run, right? But you want to definitely line yourself up behind people who have passion, whether you were making money or not, right? And that can actually go into any business. If you're just showing up hitting the clock, then you're just showing up hitting the clock. If you're showing up and not even getting paid, then you know what? There's a whole different energy. There's a whole different, give. There's a whole lot that goes involved that, like, you know what? I would do this and I'm going to give it my best every day until you decide that you're not, right? But money comes and money goes. Anyone who's been in entertainment knows money comes and money goes. So it can't just be about that.
Some of the best advice I ever got when I was an executive producer of a morning radio show in Seattle, my hometown, the morning co-host or host, she said to me, she goes, you work in radio, save your money. And that's honestly the best advice because like you said, it comes and goes. And especially now, there are so many of my friends in radio. I've read headlines of some of them getting into music promotion with different record companies. I mean, what kind of advice do you have for people with the way things are going right now? I mean, whether they're a professional musician, they're an artist, they're on the radio side or TV side. There's just so much change happening right now, and Lord only knows what's going to happen. I mean, I think we kind of know what's going to happen. We're not going to see much live music, if any, for the rest of this year. And I like to give advice, but people never take it. So let's hear some good advice for you as far as anyone in the music biz goes. I mean, where do you see this going in the future?
So let's think of it differently, right? Most of us who've decided to take this journey in music, right? We knew it wasn't going to be easy, right? We've had a lot of ups and downs along the way, right? Ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys, right? So if we look at it just as the journey, it's no different. I can remember times, not being paid. I remember times living in, a studio apartment because it's the love of. Right now, I remember working 3 jobs while actually having a job at a record label.
Wow.
Right. So ultimately, the dream and the passion is what's going to keep us going. Back to the original question that you asked about money. Like, if life is different as you start to acquire things, and life changes because things have changed, right? But I think larger than just music, this pandemic has showed us really what's most important, right? And creators have to create, right? Now, if along the way,
that's what I'm doing.
Right, if you have to find other means to compensate along the way, then there's only a season for it. So we shouldn't, you know, at this point, measure our lives based on our past success. Enjoy your life and look for what's to come.
Yeah, yeah. I'm wearing a bracelet my sister gave me. It says "Trust the journey," and it's
right.
so true.
Absolutely.
It's so true. So you know, I'm not going to keep you much longer. I know you got a family and you got a Memorial Day weekend. And you're up there in New Jersey, New York, right?
New Jersey, yes.
Okay, good. What has this pandemic been like for you? How are you doing?
Yo, I'm loving it. I mean,
Hold
on. I gotta hold on. Hold on. I hate the monster. I hate the germ, right? Because that was so fast. But I mean, I'm loving the opportunity that tying all of this back together and being able to create, right? Like, you are the second web function that I've ever done in my life, which I wouldn't have never done before, right? Because it wasn't a desire, right? I've been able to finish a lot of the things that, you know, I've started and never found time to do. I think that, you know, the pandemic within itself has given me and probably a vast majority of Americans the opportunity to really think about, right? You know, what is my life? You know, what is my importance? Who's really important, right? What are the things that are important to me, and how am I going to move forward post this, right? It gives you a true sense of family, right? And you'll figure that out. Now, people have to answer that themselves, what that means, right?
Right.
But when we just think about, you know, for most of us, you know, you haven't spent this much time with your family since you were kids, right? Growing up in the same house, and, you know, we didn't look at it as prison confinement, but I guess, you know, it is what it is. So I look to come out of this just a better person, right? More so than anything else, and you know, a better executive and a better friend, you know, and realizing like what the value is moving forward is that I've learned a lot about circumstances, right? Like, you know, and not to take any day for granted. Just think about it. You know, one person impacted the entire world. So think about what one person can do for good.
Yeah.
The entire world. So I think all of us need to look at, like, you know, how am I going to do that? How am I going to be an impact?
Yeah. Yeah. The power of one. I'm just saying, you could do your own little, you know, Benny Pough showcase with using this platform. I'm sure there would be people lining up.
We're coming back.
Yeah, I know. I hope so. When do you predict? Who do you think will have the very first show? I mean, like a Kanye revival or something. I wonder who will be the first show of 2021, assuming we can do that. Most everybody's canceled. I mean, there are some people that are still.
No, it's. How about this? You know, the big guys are going to figure that out. You know, the big touring acts are. I'm sure there's a lot of heavy discussion going on about that. But I think what's going to be interesting is, you know, just watching the Asian markets. You know, whatever Asia does, we're going to follow.
Yeah.
So somebody has to figure out the template. What's going to be safe? What's not going to be, right?
Right.
You
like
know,
the drive-in movie theaters. That's crazy that's happening, but it's happening.
So they are very innovative. If you think about it, BTS being $1 billion business, right?
Yeah.
Let's watch and see what they do. When it's okay, when they go into the arenas, we're gonna shows are back.
Yeah.
Right?
Amazing.
Whatever the method and mechanism, shows are back.
All right. Well, Benny, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate your time. It's so good to see you again. And hopefully we can have that drink again soon, like in 2021 when you're ready. What?
Appreciate 2021.
I know it's only 6 months away now. You only got 6 months. You hang in there, Benny.
Okay, then.
Thank you so much. You are the best. I appreciate you. And I'll send all these aspiring musicians and acts your way.
Okay. Benny Pough at dversemedia.com.
Awesome. You have a wonderful weekend. Thanks so much, Benny.
All right, then.
Bye.